When you're talking about any sort of material in this shop, unless you know exactly where it came from, as in you've come from your supplier like Bunnings or elsewhere, and you put it straight on the machine and you're working with it and you know that it's a good supply, you need to metal detect it. That means anything that's been left in the shop, any reclaimed timber, anything at all, going through our machines with bits of metal and nails and that sort of stuff, it damages the blades. It can be quite hazardous. It can knock teeth loose. It's generally a bad time overall, so you have to metal detect stuff. Metal detecting is universal across all our machines. It's not just the table saw. It's particularly important for the table saw and the thickness of planer. Yeah, we've had people put metal through them before, and it does a lot of damage very quickly. So this is a Lumber Wizard 4. It's one of the nicer metal detectors on the market at the moment. It's very easy to use. It just takes 9-volt batteries, which you can just chuck in the end here. So if it's ever not working correctly, just grab a new 9-volt battery and chuck it in. So the way this works is that the end part of the detector here is the part that actually detects. So you can see here that it's reading my screwdriver, and it's got a little laser in there as well, which will, if you can see that, the laser will turn on when you get metal. So what you do is it's off at the moment. This is the on-off switch here. You need to turn it on away from any metal. So we like to come to an open area of the shop here and turn it on. So don't turn it on while it's resting on the cast iron surface of the machine or anything like that. So you turn it on, it'll start up, and we like to just make sure that you do a test with it first. So there's lots of tables around the shop that have got bolts and everything in them. So the best thing to do is just have it on and then find something where you know there's a bit of metal. So there's a little staple in here, and that's picking that up just fine. It's meant to be able to do up to 6 inches into wood, and it's meant to be able to detect everything, including aluminium. In our experience, it's more reasonable to expect about 4 inches of detection. So, pretty effective. Like there's not much that you'll put through that this won't be able to pick up. Occasionally you'll pick it up and it won't be tuned in. It'll be beeping constantly. It'll be freaking out, and that's because the battery voltage is dropping or something like that. So, for example, if I tune this right out, it's having a conniption right now. It doesn't know what's going on. So what I'm going to do is just use one of the flathead screwdrivers into the fine tuning knob. I'm going to turn it clockwise until it calms down and goes back into this flashing mode, and then I'm going to bring it back anti-clockwise until it beeps and stops flashing, and then I'm going to test it on something known, and that's working nicely. So yeah, sometimes when you pick it up it just may be off and you need to just turn that dial a little bit to get it back in. As the battery drops down, the voltage changes and it doesn't really account for it, so you just got to keep it on like that. The laser is also quite useful because it helps you sort of like a stud finder, find where you need to be. Yeah, so this is our metal detector. You always must use it. It lives up in the corner here, and there's a manual behind it. So make sure that you look at that if you've got any questions.